What's good, y'all? About to drop a video real quick before I get my day started. I wanted to talk to you all about expectations. Most times what you fail to realize is that your expectations of other people is the very thing that's making you frustrated, is the very thing that's making you fall out with other people, and you being disappointed and feeling some type of way about how they act and how they move and how they talk and all that shit, when in all reality you really don't have the right to do that. You see what I'm saying? Once you peep how a person is, how they move and how they talk and where they are in their life, that's solely up to you to stick around. And me personally, due to my growth, I learned how important it is that as you elevate in life, you're going to lose people. And you're going to have to be okay with that. And it's no love lost, ain't no hate or none of that. It's just we are now at two different levels in our lives, and you don't align with who I am and where I'm trying to be in life. You see what I'm saying? I'm really focused on, the people I allow around me, because those of you who really know me know I really don't fuck with people like that anyway, to be honest. And I learned the importance of being able to open up in a way to allow the right people to come into my life. Because although you may have in your journey came a long way by yourself, at some point you're going to need other people. And it's very important that you learn to pick and choose those people. You can't just, at some point in your life, as you elevate, you can't just allow any and everybody in your face. Like, just because a motherfucker wave and smile at you don't mean they have good intentions. It don't mean their heart is right when they doing it. You see what I'm saying? But what you have to realize is, a lot of times when you place expectations on people, they don't even know that you placed them on them. And so you're getting frustrated and you're getting mad and you feeling some type of way because they're not meeting those expectations. When in all reality, that's unfair that you're doing that. You cannot ask people to give of themselves when they're not at that capacity to give in that way. You see what I'm saying? You can't ask a motherfucker to be faithful or committed or a good friend when it's not in them. That shit has to be in them. You can't force it out of them. You can't beg and plead them to be a certain way. So what you gotta realize is, once you peep how they move, and once you realize that it's not in alignment with who you are and where you're trying to be in life, then that's for you to decide whether or not you want to stick around. You see what I'm saying? And some people might take it the wrong way, and it's not even being judgmental about the shit. It's just simply, understanding that if we're not in alignment, whether you be a friend or a romantic, relationship, or even family, if we're not in alignment, I have to leave you right here. You know what I'm saying? And I have to keep moving forward. Because if I dwell around you too long, you're going to slow down my progress. You see what I'm saying? It's very important that as you elevate, you understand that a lot of people ain't gonna make it. And that's okay. Me, for those of you who really know me, I don't really deal with too many people anyway. And so I've always had this mentality that, it's me, and for the most part, it is just me. I do a lot of shit on my own, by myself. But you got to understand that as you elevate in life and your journey, and as you walking towards your purpose, at some point you're going to need somebody, right? Because you're going to come across these stumbling blocks where, in order to get over them, you're going to need some assistance. And so you can't just completely shut yourself out from the world. And that's what I used to do. You know what I'm saying? But as I've gotten older and I'm learning and still learning a lot, I have to be open to at least allow the right people to come into my life. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is here for a season. And you just got to understand that. You can't be placing expectations on people and then get mad when they don't fall through what you feel like they should be doing, or how they should be acting, or how they should be treating you. Life is all about choices. And once I really understood how much choice I have not only with the decisions I make for my own personal life, but as far as like who I choose to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Understanding true loyalty, understanding true commitment, and understanding that I don't have to deal with certain shit if I feel like it's not what's best for me. That shit, a huge chunk of your life will get easier just off of that alone. Once you really understand that, then everything else is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you cannot sit here and get mad at people because you put expectations on them and they're not following through. They didn't even know that you had put expectations on them. You have to be willing to meet people where they are if you're gonna fuck with them. You can't sit there and be trying to persuade them to be a certain way or to act a certain way. Or people are who the fuck they are for the most part. A lot of times people are who they are due to the experiences that they done had in life. You know what I'm saying? Most times people feel like they're a certain person because, you know, well, they feel like they're just a certain person. But they fail to realize themselves that it's due to their life experiences. But in the meantime, in their mind, that's who the fuck they are. And you can't tell them nothing different. And that's for you to decide whether or not it's worth you sticking around. It ain't no love lost. It's not even being judgmental. It's just, when it comes to loving yourself and doing what's best for you, that includes having the right people in your life. Because if I'm at this certain level and you're down here, and you're always being negative and you're not seeing the bigger picture and things, I can't even conversate with you. We can't have a conversation about nothing deep because you're not going to see what I'm talking about. You're not going to even understand what I'm talking about. Because I don't reach a level in my life where I look at the bigger picture of things. Yes, I see the circumstances. Because when you have circumstances, that shit smack you right in the face. But I had to learn to look beyond that in order to help me push through those circumstances. And there's a lot of people out there who can't do that. It's a small percentage of people who have the capability of, no matter what's thrown their way in life, to look at the bigger picture, to look at the bright side of things. A very small percentage. Because most people, when shit is thrown their way, they fall apart. Or they think it's the end of the world. And that used to be me too. Used to be me all the way out. Like I said in one of my other videos, I tell y'all too, like I used to allow everything to bother me, to slow my progress down. And I had to understand that despite those circumstances and situations, although I felt like those things were in my way, I was more in my way than anything. I was being in my own way. Because I allow those things to take over. I allow those things to have that much power over my capability of getting through it. You see what I'm saying? You have to be willing to meet people where they are. You have to. Me, I can meet you where you are as far as, you know, conversating with you to, you know, help you gain a different perspective on what you're going through in your life. But I can't meet you where you are as far as like just allowing you to have access to me. I can't. I used to do that shit. And it was draining. And at the end of the day, it was no benefit. It wasn't no benefit to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, but if you're going to stick around, like I said, you got to be willing to meet people where they are. And you can't be nagging and bitching at them about where they are. They are where the fuck they are. And you can't rush their process. Their process, their growth, their walk in life, their purpose, that's between them and the universe. You can't stand in the way of that. Now, if you run into a person and they're really trying to grow